Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, Ginger. Welcome, welcome, Andrea. Nice to see both of you. Can you hear me okay? Hi, Wendy. Thank you, Andrea. I don't have my mic connected at the last minute. I realized it, so I won't get it if the sound is good as it is. So great. Oh, y'all can see my messy humanness over here. So, my clutter, my secret shame. I'm totally kidding. But had I noticed that, I would have cleaned it before. And also, I'm going to allow humanness to occur. So, hello, Wendy. Okay. So, on the live page, is that okay? So, Ginger did see it there. And is that whenever it has the pink circle and you click it and it has the people listed? Or is it like the upcoming lives? Is that where you were looking? I'm just curious. But yeah, glad you're here. However you found me. Oh, who's live and today? Okay, so Ginger saw it in the upcoming lives. Thank you. I appreciate hearing about that because there was a recent glitch and yeah, my lives were deleted and disappeared, and so glad to know that everything sounds like it's on par. So thank you all for joining. I'm excited to be with you here. We're going to be continuing our amazing book meditative listening experience of Conversations with God, Book 1. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Petra. Good morning. Nice to see you. Yeah, so if there's anybody new here, I would love to hear from you. Welcome back, Ren. Nice to see you again. If you do care to, and you don't already, follow me here on Insight Timer. If you care to give a donation, always welcomed. And follow me everywhere that I am. And yeah, you can catch my replays, all that stuff. You know, you hear me say it a lot because I don't know who's here. I don't know who's new. I mean, I know many of you already. So, yeah, I'd like to share that. Hi, Gary. I am also looking forward to it. So I do have a live scheduled for Saturday night in the West, Sunday morning in the East. So please be sure to join for that. RSVP if you do plan to. And looking forward to that as well. And yes, Wendy, no, there have been a couple of these readings, but don't worry because it's kind of like if you have any sort of, does anyone here, I know some of you must, have books that you just like pick up and you open it and you trust that whatever your eye falls on to read is your message for the moment. Like that's how this Conversations with God is. I mean, yes, it builds on itself and also each message stands alone. So, and two, if you love the material, please go deeper on your own. And I can share the link to what I'm going to play in the audio here. So if you want that resource for yourself, just send me a private message here. And yeah, like if you want to go back and listen, and also the replays of this are available on my YouTube channel. So if you want that info, send me a message. So if you want to catch up in that way, like everything's possible, everything's available. So is there anybody who is brand new to the book Conversations with God? And I know a couple of you have said that you had the book years ago and like this has helped you rediscover it. So that's also good. Oh, great. So Petra, did you just hear what I said about that, or did you miss that? I'll repeat it if so. Hi Elena, Rita is brand new, awesome. Hi Kiana, good morning. Ah, yes. Nancy got 1 through 4. So did you just buy, so there's 4 books in the series, plus there's more, but the first series is 1 through 4. Yes, Petra, that's right. Hi Miki, hi Mickey and Mishi. Hello. So Nancy, you bought them all, and is it as a result of finding out about this through this live series, or had you heard of it before? I'm curious. And for those who know the book or know the material, either now or in the past, awesome! Yay, I love it. What's your biggest insight, or what's your biggest aha, either so far in our journey with this book, or if you already know it, like what's been your biggest, most important point from this material? If you care to share, I would love to know. So yeah. Anybody, and does anybody have any questions about what we're about to do, what we're about to dive into here? If you are new, as Rita said they were new, that, no worries, you won't miss anything. Just take it in, be with it, experience it. Yes, Wendy. Ooh, I love Ginger. It's a resonance in the body. So what I'm hearing is you're having an experience. Is that? Would you say that? Oh, Petra. So how many of you have done what Petra's done? Bought a book years ago. It never got it out until sometime later. Or never finished it. Yep. Hi, Nimble. Yep. Violet, welcome. Hi, Jess. You meant to read the book, but not gotten around to it. Yeah. So, totally. I think, it's the blessing and the challenge of living in the age of information, where we have so much information competing for our attention, right? So it's all good, all good. So the way the format works is I'm just going to start playing the audio. And for those who haven't experienced it, there's 3 voices. And so Neale Donald Walsch is the author of the book, and he's one voice, he's his voice. So the book is in the format of our dialogue, of a dialogue between Neale Donald Walsch and God. So it's just a back and forth conversation. And so Neale Donald Walsch is the questioner, right? Asking God questions or like that. The God voice is done by male and female, which I just love so much that they do that, because God is genderless. So it switches back and forth between a male and female voice every so often. And if you have a trouble distinguishing which male voice is God and not, just it's okay, don't worry about it. Like, just be with it. You'll get what you need. So, ooh, yes, Ginger, our attention is our greatest currency. What are you paying? You're paying your attention. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I've shared this before, but I did a digital detox a few years ago. And I really felt into that. I totally was offline, only for like 48 hours. It wasn't even very long. But it was I'll never forget that experience. It was such a powerful experience where, and it happened because I was trying to read Seat of the Soul. Who all knows that book by Gary Zukav? I got a hard copy of that randomly, and I was trying to read it, and I literally could not read a whole page because of my attention, because of the scrolling in the phone stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. I made a negative judgment. And so I was like, I was scared of my attention. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, I've got to get off this, off screens and off the phone. So I went off for 2 days, and it was just, it was like becoming enlightened. Not that I know what that's like, but it's like a different reality. Has anyone had that experience where if you do get off screens for a while, it's like this whole other world of like presence? And I had the like huge downloads of information. And I did also, I've told this story before. Like I had to go to the hospital randomly. It was fine, but aside from that, I just was in my bungalow. Actually, the bungalow in Koh Phangan, for those who know me and follow me, I've been in this beautiful place. Remember the beautiful view I was just in? That was where the digital detox thing happened during COVID. So I was on that porch, and all I allowed myself, I think I allowed myself to have either Seat of the Soul to read and maybe the Bhagavad Gita, but that was it. And I was just like, okay, I'm just having a journal, I'm having pen and paper, and maybe like one book, maybe that book or something, but that was it. I got this whole download of this digital detox course, and I couldn't stop writing, and I wrote this like blog post. It went viral on Facebook. But what I realized was like the energy of my attention, there was so much. And so then, yeah, it was a profound experience. So awesome. I want to read back and read what y'all said. Thank you, Petra, for the donation. Thank you so much. So y'all can relate. Andrea misses the 90s. Yeah, I get that. Kiana did a whole week. Best time of your life. Oh, interesting. 6 months off devices, Wendy? Oh my gosh. Please share, tell us. And Kiana, you haven't been on Facebook or Instagram in 4 months. Wow. So some of you are pulling away from the grid. Okay. So, wonderful. And also, like, it's not about making it wrong or bad, because we create the meaning in the story about it. It's just it's interesting, and I have, I have judgments about it. And I don't have clarity on that at this moment. It's almost 9 p.m. here, so yeah, which is all good. I know. Well, JE, that's the thing. To interface with the world. And I did. I mean, in the digital detox course I created, I really dug into all those aspects, and if you need to use technology and all of that. Yeah, and I shared this before, like I went to the hospital and I was living on a small island, had to take a boat to another island. I did use my phone for logistics, but that was it. And then I didn't use my phone. So I, like, in the taxi, on the ferry, I wasn't sitting on my phone. I was present. Hi, Evelyn. Yeah, what that reminds me of is, like, people say Facebook's negative, and I'm like, well, you control what you see, so if it's negative, then you can change that. I mean, my Facebook's great because I choose it. I choose what I see. Yeah, awesome, Kiana, listening to your intuition. Wendy, really, Insight Timer really helping you right now. Yeah, using it appropriately. Yeah. Yes, that's awesome. Woohoo! I love hearing the impact of Insight Timer for you all. It's amazing. And what I love about it is, like, it's actually, I mean, from what I know of it, an organization that it's got integrity, the whole way through. So, thank you, Insight Timer. I don't know if they're in here right now. So let's go ahead and get into Conversations with God. So if, yeah, I make notes of where we stopped last time. Last time we stopped at 1 hour and 13 minutes. So I just go back like 2 minutes. I mean, it takes a few minutes to kind of reground into it, but just trust it. Trust you get what you need. And if you do really want to dive deeper, then you can, do that on your own. But we're not going to go back too much, because then it would be like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which would be fine too. And also, we're not going to do it that way. So, oh, wonderful, Wendy. Yeah, great to hear. So as I said, I'm going to be playing a audio of the book, and sometimes there's pauses. So yeah, I'm just going to go with the flow and stop it when I feel called to. If y'all have questions, you can hold them until we stop and then ask them. or if you feel like you might lose it or comment, you can say it as it happens in the chat. My invitation for you is that you use this space as a fully focused, mindful time, and that you're not dividing your attention. I mean, for all the reasons we're talking about now, about, attention, focus, all of that. So my invitation for you is to be 100% here. If you're, some people listen in the background while they're working or things like that, and that's one thing. But if you're able to, the invitation is you really be with this. You pay your full attention to this because it's important and it's valuable and it's life-changing and amazing information. So trust that you've found this for a reason right now. And at the same time, I'm going to be channeling Reiki I like to do it as I see your beautiful profile circles floating across the screen. I send Reiki and just to everybody here and to the replay. If you don't want the Reiki, you don't have to say anything out loud or type, just have the intention, I don't want to receive it, then you will not receive it. So. Great. So we'll go ahead and get started. And let me know, I'm going to play it. If the volume's a problem, just type it in the comments.
Deep personal disappointments are responses which are chosen, and worldwide calamities are the result of worldwide consciousness. Your question infers that I choose these events, that it is my will and desire they should occur. Yet I do not will these things into being. I merely observe you doing so. And I do nothing to stop them, because to do so would be to thwart your will. That in turn would deprive you of the God experience, which is the experience you and I have chosen together. Do not condemn, therefore, all that you would call bad in the world. Rather ask yourself, what about this have you judged bad, and what, if anything, you wish to do to change it? Inquire within rather than without, asking, what part of myself do I wish to experience now in the face of this calamity? What aspect of being do I choose to call forth? For all of life exists as a tool of your own creation, and all of its events merely present themselves as opportunities for you to decide and be who you are. This is true for every soul, and so you see there are no victims in the universe, only creators. The masters who have walked this planet all knew this. That is why, no matter which master you might name, none imagined themselves to be victimized, though many were truly crucified. Each soul is a master, though some do not remember their origins or their heritages. Yet each creates the situation and the circumstance for its own highest purpose and its own quickest remembering in each moment called now. Judge not.
I've got to stop right there. This is so important. Seriously, did that land with anybody else like as powerfully as it does with me? And I might even replay that, because really I'm just like getting chills. And I think too, because I'm a life coach, that basically what you just heard is what I help people with. which is going from disempowered to empowered, going from victim to responsible. And what that was just saying is changing your mindset, right? Yeah, I'm so glad y'all are with me on that. Yeah. So, I had the judgmental part that said, "Oh, you can't stop it this early. You just started it." And then I got to be like, "Yeah, this is too damn important to, like, whew, we could probably listen to that like 5 times over." So great. Thank you all for being in with that too. So, and if you want to, if you're listening to the audio, like if you're studying this on your own, that's it, minute or hour 1 in this specific recording, which I can share the link if you want. It probably started around an hour and 10 minutes in. So yeah, so listen again as if you've never heard it before. And yeah, it's like mic drop. So I'm so excited to share this with y'all and that we get to share this together. I mean, really, you could listen to that every day. Or I could listen to it every day to be reminded. It might not be exactly the same spot, but we'll trust it's perfect. Okay, here we go.
Reality is subject to them because life itself is a rhythm. It is a wave, a vibration, a pulsation at the very heart of the all that is. Illness and disease are opposites of health and wellness and are made manifest in your reality at your behest. You cannot be ill without at some level causing yourself to be. And you can be well again in a moment by simply deciding to be. Deep personal disappointments are responses which are chosen. And worldwide calamities are the result of worldwide consciousness. Your question infers that I choose these events, that it is my will and desire they should occur. Yet I do not will these things into being. I merely observe you doing so. And I do nothing to stop them, because to do so would be to thwart your will. That in turn would deprive you of the God experience, which is the experience you and I have chosen together. Do not condemn, therefore, all that you would call bad in the world. Rather ask yourself, what about this have you judged bad, and what, if anything, you wish to do to change it? Inquire within rather than without, asking, what part of myself do I wish to experience now in the face of this calamity? What aspect of being do I choose to call forth? For all of life exists as a tool of your own creation, and all of its events merely present themselves as opportunities for you to decide and be who you are. This is true for every soul, and so you see there are no victims in the universe, only creators. The masters who have walked this planet all knew this. That is why, no matter which master you might name, none imagined themselves to be victimized, though many were truly crucified. Each soul is a master, though some do not remember their origins or their heritages. Yet each creates the situation and the circumstance for its own highest purpose and its own quickest remembering, in each mold now. Judge not, then, the karmic path walked by another. Envy not success, nor pity failure, for you know not what is success or failure in the soul's reckoning. Call not a thing calamity, nor joyous event, until you decide or witness how it is used. For is a death a calamity if it saves the lives of thousands? And is a life a joyous event if it has caused nothing but grief? Yet even this you should not judge, but keep always your own counsel and allow others theirs. This does not mean ignore or call for help. nor the urging of your own soul to work toward the change of some circumstance or condition. It does mean avoiding labels and judgment while you do whatever you do. For each circumstance is a gift, and in each experience is hidden a treasure.
Mic drop. Thank you, Karma, and for your comments. So what I want to say about that part, what is your biggest takeaway? Please share it. Speaking of seed of the soul, one of my biggest takeaways from that whole book was the part that's talking about what this is just talking about. That if you see somebody homeless on the street, that's the example seat of the soul gave, to not judge that. Doesn't mean you don't have compassion, but the mind will judge it. It'll make up stories. It might judge the person as a drug addict or mentally ill, or maybe they deserve it or maybe they didn't deserve it, like any sort of judgment on either side, right? But what Seed of the Soul says is like, and that's what this just said too, the soul's purpose is bigger than what we see in this very limited human perspective. And so, you know, don't judge things as good or bad. We don't have the whole story. And I'm in Bangkok right now and there's homeless people, and I mean, that's, you don't see that very much, I mean, where I've been staying and living. So I've noticed that, and it's like, oh, you know, the mind wanders, it wants to make up stories. And then the other part that I loved about that, it said, whatever your life circumstances are, is your path for your quickest remembering, which is remembering the truth of who you are, awakening, self-realization. So how different of a mindset shift is that than, oh, this is happening to me, this is bad, I don't like this is happening, I don't want this to happen, which is normal. But what if the thing that's happening is to help you reach the fastest, to help you reach peace and, I don't want to say enlightenment, but self-actualization, realization, awakening. Yeah. Yes, Ginger, that picked that one too. Yes. Hi, Monica. Yeah, so it's like, don't judge the outer circumstances and world, and then don't judge our own. Yeah, having compassion. Ava, we are co-creators. Mark, each event is a treasure. So, you know, Natalie, the coach, will say, when you say I need to be more aware, change that to I get to. Try that on. I get to be more aware. Feel how that feels different. So, all right, y'all ready to continue? Okay. Oh, well, now it's a pause.
There was once a soul who knew itself to be the light. This was a new soul, and so anxious for experience. I am the light, it said. I am the light. Yet all the knowing of it and all the saying of it could not substitute for the experience of it. And in the realm from which this soul emerged, there was nothing but the light. every soul was grand, every soul was magnificent, and every soul shone with the brilliance of my awesome light. And so the little soul in question was as a candle in the sun. In the midst of the grandest light of which it was part, it could not see itself, nor experience itself as who and what it really is. Now it came to pass that this soul yearned and yearned to know itself, and so great was its yearning that I one day said, "Do you know, little one, what you must do to satisfy this yearning of yours?" "Oh, what, God, what? I'll do anything," the little soul said. "You must separate yourself from the rest of us," I answered, "and then you must call upon yourself the darkness." "What is the darkness, O Holy One?" the little soul asked. "That which you are not," I replied, and the soul understood. And so this the soul did, removing itself from the all, yea, going even unto another realm. And in this realm, the soul had the power to call into its experience all sorts of darkness, and this it did. Yet in the midst of all the darkness did it cry out, "Father, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? Even as have you in your blackest times. Yet I have never forsaken you, but stand by you always, ready to remind you of who you really are, ready, always ready, to call you home. Therefore, be a light unto the darkness, and curse it not, and forget not who you are in the moment of your encirclement by that which you are not. But do you praise to the creation, even as you seek to change it, and know that what you do in the time of your greatest trial can be your greatest triumph. For the experience you create is a statement of who you are and who you want to be. I've told you this story, the parable of the little soul and the sun, so that you might better understand why the world is the way it is, and how it can change in an instant, the moment everyone remembers the divine truth of their highest reality. Now there are those who say that life is a school, and that these things which you observe and experience in your life are for your learning. I've addressed this before, and I tell you again, you came into this life with nothing to learn. You have only to demonstrate what you already know. In the demonstration of it, will you function it out and create yourself anew through your experience. Thus do you justify life and give it purpose. Thus do you render it holy.
Are you saying that all the bad things that happen to us are things of our own choosing? Do you mean that even the world's calamities and disasters are at some level created by us so that we can, experience the opposite of who we are? And if so, isn't there some less painful way, less painful to ourselves and others, to create opportunities for us to experience ourselves?
You've asked several questions, and they're all good ones. Let's take them one at a time. No, not all the things which you call bad.
Which happen to you are of your own choosing, not in the conscious sense which you mean. They are all of your own creation. You are always in the process of creating, every moment, every minute, every day. How you can create we'll go into later. For now, just take my word for it. You are a big creation machine, and you are turning out a new manifestation literally as fast as you can think. Events, occurrences, happenings, conditions, circumstance, all are created out of consciousness. Individual consciousness is powerful enough. You can imagine what kind of creative energy is unleashed whenever two or more are gathered in my name. And mass consciousness, why, that is so powerful it can create events and circumstances of worldwide import and planetary consequences. It would not be accurate to say, not in the way you mean it, that you are choosing these consequences. You are not choosing them any more than I am choosing them. Like me, you are observing them and deciding who you are with regard to them. Yet there are no victims in the world and no villains, and neither are you a victim of have all created that which you say you detest. And having created it, you have chosen it. This is an advanced level of thinking, and it is one which all masters reach sooner or later. But it is only when they can accept responsibility for all of it that they can achieve the power to change part of it. So long as you entertain the notion that there is something or someone else out there doing it to you, you disempower yourself to do anything about it. Only when you say, I did this, can you find the power to change it. It is much easier to change what you are doing than to change what another is doing. The first step in changing anything is to know and accept that you have chosen it to be what it is. If you can't accept this on a personal level, agree to it through your understanding that we are all one. Seek then to create change, not because the thing is wrong, but because it no longer makes an accurate statement of who you are. There's only one reason to do anything, as a statement to the universe of who you are. Used in this way, life becomes self-creative. You use life to create yourself as who you are and who you've always wanted to be. There's also only one reason to undo anything, because it is no longer a statement of who you want to be. It does not reflect you. It does not represent you. That is, it does not represent you. If you wish to be accurately represented, you must work to change anything in your life which does not fit into the picture of you that you wish to project into eternity. In the largest sense, all the bad things that happen are of your choosing. The mistake is not in choosing them, but in calling them bad. For in calling them bad, you call yourself bad, since you created them. This label you cannot accept, so rather than label yourself bad, you disown your own creations. It is this intellectual and spiritual dishonesty which lets you accept a world in which conditions are as they are. If you had to accept or even felt a deep inner sense of personal responsibility for the world, it would be a far different place. This would certainly be true if everyone felt responsible. That this is so patently obvious is what makes it so utterly painful and so poignantly ironic.
So that was a bigger chunk to digest. What did y'all think of the parable of the little soul and the sun? And anything else you want to share or ask questions about? Or you just want to let that sink in a moment? So they were talking about creating ourselves. Yeah, it was a lot. And I practice listening for a living. And yeah, there is so much there. Wonderful, Mickey. Glad to hear that. Ah. So was anybody else not absorbing it totally for whatever reason, which is no judgment? And I mean, hi Kristen. Hi Rochelle. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you like 90 seconds ago. I'm so glad you're here. I would really invite you to watch the replay in perfect timing. But yeah, I mean, I want to get a read from y'all because of, naturally my mind had a plan about the structure of this series that we're doing. And it just made up this plan out of nowhere. And that was we need to listen to large chunks of the material to get through it for what, I don't know, faster, whatever that means. I think it's because I want to provide a lot of value to you, and my mind made up a story that the more you of the material that you hear, the more value you'll get, so that you would rather hear a lot more of the recording. But I'm kind of thinking again about this, so I like your feedback. Do you like it better in like the small chunks? And maybe even that this is a slower, more deep process, or do you prefer kind of listening to larger amounts? So please share. Slowing down to speed up. Woo! Oh, great. Ooh, interesting, Jess. And I usually say, I meant to say that earlier, so I'm glad you brought that in, that you felt some rebelling energy, which is great. And there's no bad, there's no judgment about it. What's great is to notice it first, as you did, and then note it, just get curious. Oh, isn't this interesting? I'm resistant. I'm not liking that. I'm arguing that point in my head. Oh. And then just take a step back and be like, what is it about that point that I have this energetic or charge about, or this judgment about? And then the invitation is to look at, can I maybe just be open? There's something that wants to close. I'm having a judgment. I'm wanting to be closed to it. Is there any part where I can just open to it? It doesn't mean you have to buy into every single thing, but just getting curious about your response, if there is one. So Naomi, ooh, love that. Naomi wrote, intolerance is a way of disconnecting from parts of us that we created. Mark, we are co-creators. Wow, love it. You feel empowered. Yes, awesome, Nancy. So Jess prefers longer. So maybe we'll just go with the flow, and it doesn't have to be either way. What I could invite you to do, if somebody and I'm not saying like if somebody's saying stop the recording every 30 seconds, I'm going to do that, but we can try it. We can do whatever we want. But if like somebody's like, oh, will you stop there? We can try it that way, or I'll just continue to go with my own intuition and stop it when I feel like mic drop, bomb drop. JE, so that's a great point, and it did talk about that, natural disasters. It said, yeah, so people that live in war zones. So what the book is saying is that on some bigger level, that it's like a collective creation. And that goes back to what was said earlier about not judging things as good or bad. So this is very, like, it's not easy pills to swallow. And you don't have to believe anything, and you don't have to buy into any of this. For me and many others, it resonates. And if it resonates for you, great. I mean, I would just say be open-minded, trust you found this for a reason. And, you know, if it's not for you, that's fine. Or maybe some of it is, some of it isn't. But just, you know, the invitation is to just be open-minded. Yeah, as I said. Thank you, Jess. Awesome, Mark. Love that. Yeah. So, some mind wandering. Petra, if it's too long. Great. Hi, Leslie. Great. Thank you for that confirmation. Hi, Terry. Yeah, so when it says we're here to remember, like remember and remember to God, like come back to God, or represent, represent. I take that to mean like represent ourselves to remembering who we are, that we are God and we are all one. Yeah. Yeah, Ava, that is one of the biggest pills to swallow for some. Yeah, and Nancy, you know, more people, you wish they would be open-minded. So how can you play with that statement based on what we're talking about here? As far as victims or right or wrong, or yeah, just a question to consider. So let's do a little bit more before we close.
Disasters, its tornadoes and hurricanes, volcanoes and floods, its physical turmoils are not created by you specifically. What is created by you is the degree to which these events touch your life. Events occur in the universe which no stretch of the imagination could claim you instigated or created. These events are created by the combined consciousness of man. All of the world co-creating together produces these experiences. What each of you do individually is move through them, deciding what, if anything, they mean to you, and who and what you are in relationship to them. Thus, you create collectively and individually the life and times you are experiencing for the sole purpose of evolving. You've asked if there's a less painful way to undergo this process, and the answer is yes. Yet nothing in your outward experience will have changed. The way to reduce the pain that you associate with earthly experiences and events, both yours and those of others, is to change the way you behold them. You cannot change the outer event, for that has been created by the lot of you, and you are not grown enough in your consciousness to alter individually that which has been created collectively. So you must change the inner experience. This is the road to mastery in living. Nothing is painful in and of itself. Pain is a result of wrong thought. It is an error in thinking. A master can disappear the most grievous pain. In this way, the master heals. Pain results from a judgment you have made about a thing. Remove the judgment, and the pain disappears. Judgment is often based upon previous experience. Your idea about a thing derives from a prior idea about that thing. Your prior idea results from a still prior idea, and that idea from another, and so forth, like building blocks, until you get all the way back in the hall of mirrors to what I call first thought. All thought is creative, and no thought is more powerful than original thought. That is why this is sometimes also called original sin. Original sin is when your first thought about a thing is in error. That error is then compounded many times over each time you have a second or third thought about a thing. understandings that can free you from your mistakes.
Are you saying that I shouldn't feel badly about the starving children of Africa? The violence and injustice in America? The earthquake that kills hundreds in Brazil?
There are no shoulds or shouldn'ts in God's world. Do what you want to do. Do what reflects you, what represents you as a grander version of yourself. If you want to feel bad, feel bad. But judge not, and neither condemn. For you know not why a thing occurs, nor to what end. And remember you this, that which you condemn will condemn you, and that which you judge, you will one day become. Rather, seek to change those things, or support others who are changing those things, which no longer reflect your highest sense of who you are. Yet, bless all, for all is the creation of God, to life living, and that is the highest creation.
Could we just stop here for a minute and let me catch my breath? Did I hear you say there are no shoulds or shouldn'ts in God's world?
That is correct.
How can that be? If there are none in your world, where would they be?
Indeed, where?
I repeat the question. Where else would shoulds and shouldn'ts appear if not in your world?
In your imagination.
But those who have taught me all about the rights and wrongs, the do's and don'ts, the shoulds and shouldn'ts, told me all those rules were laid down by you, by God.
And those who taught you were wrong. I have never set down a right or wrong, a do or a don't. To do so would be to strip you completely of your greatest gift, the opportunity to do as you please and experience the results of that. The chance to create yourself anew in the image and likeness of who you really are. The space to produce a reality of a higher and higher you based on your grandest idea of what it is of which you are capable. To say that something, a thought, a word, an action is wrong would be as much as to tell you not to do it. To tell you not to do it would be to prohibit you. To prohibit you would be to restrict you. To restrict you would be to deny the reality of who you really are, as well as the opportunity for you to create and experience that truth. There are those who say that I have given you free will, yet these same people claim that if you do not obey me, I will send you to hell. What kind of free will is that? Does this not make a mockery of God? To say nothing of any sort of true relationship between us?
Well, now we're getting into another area I wanted to discuss, and that...
Okay, we're about at time, so trust that's perfect. Kiana, yeah, so it started to get into more religious ideas. So it does talk, so if you are new to the material, you'll hear words like Holy Spirit. It talks about Jesus, God, and but it's not Christian or religious or anything. So it's Neale Donald Walsch, the author who's asking the questions, was very Christian growing up. So, this is his conversation with God. So from that background, he asks a lot of questions, about religion and Christianity. So, yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. So my soul is so delighting in this experience with you all. So, so happy that this idea came. And then, did y'all hear, remember about the part about your thinking and the error in wrong thinking, and that the only problem is you're thinking about the thing, whatever that is, and then it was talking about the natural disasters more, about, and how not to judge them, and how we create our how much we are affected by those things. And it's a collective consciousness. But it talked about, you know, our thoughts. The only problem is the judgment. And that it goes back, because we judge something because of a prior experience or thought, goes back and back and back to original thought, first thought. And it's going to talk more about that later. So, thank you, Wendy, Jess. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, totally, Mark. Free will. So, if there was not free will, then God would be denying us who the ability to be who we are. Yeah. And so the judgment piece goes in line with the other book study we're doing, which is There's Nothing Wrong with You, which they're very different, but, you know, of course they share some common threads and themes. So stay tuned for future lives scheduled. So I'm doing like one and the other. So next time I schedule, it will be There's Nothing Wrong with You. And that helps us to go back to that root of our thinking, the wrong thinking, that there's something wrong with us. And then just helping us to detach and disengage from those, all of the judgments, so that we can stop suffering. So if you want the link to what we've been listening to, send me a private message. If you want the PDF of There's Nothing Wrong with You, send me a private message. Don't forget to follow me here. Give a donation if you like. Thank you for the donations, for joining. Listen to my meditations here. Join my group, Natalie's Healing Circle. You can catch the replay on my YouTube. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. This was amazing. Bring your friends if you love this. I mean, to me, this is us awakening as a collective, even this right here. That's my perception. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel so much gratitude and warmth. We're all in this together. So next time I will be in Sri Lanka. So I'm sure it'll probably be a background similar, but I will be in a different place. So I will see you all then. Thank you. And yeah, have a good morning, afternoon, evening. Thank you. You're welcome. Namaste. Thank you. Bye-bye.